Donald Trump slamming President Obama for letting down the black community.
Because I think that he has set a very poor standard. I think that he has set a very low bar, and I think it's a shame for the African-American people. And by the way, he has done nothing for African Americans. You look at what's gone on with their income levels. You look at what's gone on with their youth. I thought that he would be a great cheerleader for this country. I thought he'd do a fabulous job for the African American citizens of this country. He has done nothing. They are worse now than just about ever.
For reaction, Kevin Jackson is the executive director of the Black Sphere and author of Race Pimping. He joins us today from St. Louis. Good morning to you, Kevin.
Hey, Steve.
Well, what did you think about what Donald Trump had to say about the president and his relationship with the black community?
He nailed it. You know, and Trump has an interesting way of sort of making what's the obvious resonate. It's not political speak. It's just truly an observational thing that a lot of Americans feel, including many on the left, and particularly blacks. So he's speaking the truth. If you look at the Wall Street versus Main Street, Wall Street's completely winning in this battle. If you look at the wealth gap, the income gap between the rich and the poor, which unfortunately blacks are more among the poor, that gap has widened under Obama. You look at schools. The black schools are pathetic. The neighborhoods are pathetic. The jobless rate among blacks is outrageously low. So, he's speaking the obvious, but like he did with immigration when he talked about, you know, the people coming across the border, I think he's making people really stop and go, you know what, maybe this is true.
Yeah. He said that he would probably win the African-American vote. And just in the African-American community, just like across all of America, the number one thing people are worried about is the economy and jobs. And people know, here's a guy who is a billionaire who knows all about business.
Yeah, well, you know, we had Romney and we had Forbes, and I think he's probably being a little bit optimistic there. But I do believe that he would be able to resonate within the black community to a degree, would certainly put the Democrats on notice that they're not just going to steal the vote. Because, again, Trump's not coming off as a politician. He's coming off more as a media figure, certainly as a business person. And I think it is going to make people say, you know what, maybe we should start listening a little bit more and not just give our vote to the Democrats and let them pander.
Sure. When you were talking to one of our producers about today's segment, you said Trump is right. If Obama were white, he would be ridiculed by the black community. What do you mean by that?
Oh, undoubtedly. Yeah, undoubtedly. If you were to switch if you were to make Obama a Republican, they would be pitchforks and burnings at the White House. And certainly if he were a white Democrat, there'd be a lot more, you know, scolding of him, and people would be discussing his record in more depth. But because he's getting this pass, because a lot of the black community essentially coddles him, you know, he's able to get away with a lot of these things. But I think people like Trump, and the more discussion that gets brought up about how Barack Obama is truly performing, you're going to see a lot of this backlash start to happen, because the rumblings are in the black community that we're overly unemployed and, you know, don't own our homes. Business starts are down. Schools are pathetic. Somebody mentioned the crime rate. I think Trump mentioned the crime rate in the black community has escalated to epidemic proportions. Cop killings and things like this. So, you know, things are not good. And I think that his bringing it up in a non-political sort of an atmosphere is going to really put it to light.
He's touched another nerve, which he's done a lot of so far this campaign. Kevin Jackson, not far from the Gateway Arch in St. Louis. Kevin, thank you very much.
My pleasure, Steve.
You bet. All right.